How you doing, guys, and welcome to another Dark Souls 2 video where I'll be offering my tips and strategies on all the bosses. This time I'll be taking on 5 different bosses, starting with number 1, the Smelter Demon. Now, before I say anything else, I would just like to say, I have already said this in previous videos, but I'm going to say it again. There's no guarantee that you're going to come up against these bosses in the exact same order I have. The reason being is because there's just so many branching paths in this game that you could end up facing bosses way before I have or way after I have. It all depends on what path you've taken. Okay, so don't go thinking that the order I'm doing these bosses in is the right order. Truth be told, I don't think there is any right order. You know, basically, you have to do all the different paths. I guess it's up to you which one you want to do first. Okay, so the Smelter Demon, as you can see by yourself, is very big and he's a fire-based enemy. So if you have any kind of fire infusion on your sword, I strongly suggest switching weapons because it's not going to do anything against this guy. Okay, so when we first entered the arena, he was in his first stage. Now, there's nothing really fancy about his first stage. Is pretty much just a standard demon. When he enters stage 2, he will set himself on fire. Now what this basically means is that when you're close to this guy, you will take fire damage and your health will eventually start to go down. And then after you've got his health down some more, he will enter stage 3, and in stage 3 he stabs his own sword into himself, coating it in fire. And this means that all his attacks from now on will create a sort of fire wave out of them, as well as giving extra damage. Okay, now I should just say, in between stages, he is stationary for a few seconds, but it's pointless hitting him. Okay, because in between these stages, his defense goes way up to the point where your sword does barely any damage. So while he is in between stages, I would strongly recommend just backing off and making sure your health is topped up. It's pointless trying to go in for the hits. Instead, back off and focus on defense. Okay, now this guy is very big, he's very powerful. The best piece of advice that I can give people is to stay close to this guy, and whenever he swings his sword at you, roll through his sword attacks. You don't want to stay too far away from this guy for too long. There's only one time that you should back away from this guy, and that's right here, when he does his slamming move. Now sometimes after he's done a slamming move, not all the time, but sometimes, he will do an area of effect after attack. Is he going to do it here? Yes, he is. That's the attack I was talking about. He doesn't do it all the time, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Basically, whenever he dives up in the air like that, it's best to back off because you never know whether he's going to do it or not. But when he's not doing that move, the best piece of advice I can give people is to stay close. The reason being is because it's much easier to roll through his attacks the closer you are to him. But remember, you can't stay too close for too long because this guy is on fire, so the closer you are to him, the more damage you're going to take. So pick your times carefully, stay close enough, long enough, so that you can roll through his attacks and get some damn good hits in, but back off when he either jumps up in the air or you're taking too much damage from the fire. Now, I am not going to say this fight is easy because it damn sure isn't. This guy took me a bunch of times to try and take him down. I'm by no means going to say that this guy was easy. But if you stick to these tips, then hopefully you guys will be able to do him as well. Okay, so now we're moving on to the second boss, the Old Iron King. Now, I should just say, I probably should have said this during the last boss encounter, but I should just say that last boss, the Smelter Demon, that was an optional boss, okay? You don't have to do him if you don't want to, but I like to kill them all. This boss, however, the Old Iron King, this is not an optional boss. You have to kill this guy to continue with the game. The good news is, he's a fucking pussy. Considering this guy is absolutely huge, and not only that, but he's basically standing in lava, he is without a doubt one of the easiest bosses in the whole game. I think most people mainly get intimidated by his size more than anything. But the main thing that makes this guy easy is his moves are so slow and there's such a big wind up. You can see them a mile coming and you can easily roll through them. Not only that, but after his attacks, he will keep his arms there for what feels like fucking ages, and it gives you a great chance to get some hits in. There's only a couple of moves that you have to worry about. The first one is when he breathes fire like this. Whenever he does that, you need to turn around and you need to run to the side of your building, because run to this side of a building whenever he's doing that fire attack, because there's no way to dodge it. You can't roll through it because it goes on too long. So by the time you end your rolling animation, you will still get hit by the fire. So instead, don't even risk it. Just run to the side of the building. And that's pretty much it, really. The best time to strike is when he's swinging his arms at you like this. It can take a while, I'm not gonna lie, because you never know when he's going to gear up for that fire breathing move. And like I said, you don't want to risk it with that fire breathing move. It's best to just run away. So some people, if he focuses only on those swiping attacks, some people could get this boss over with within a few minutes. But other people, like me, when I did this guy, he just kept spamming his fire move over and over and over again during the last parts of the fight. I only need to hit him about 2 or 3 more times, but he just kept spamming this fire over and over again at me, and it was really fucking annoying because I just wanted to kill this guy. Sometimes he will dive under the lava and he will sort of like pop up in a different place. This is nothing to worry about. He does sort of throw some of the lava out onto the arena while he's jumping up, but this isn't anything to worry about. The only thing you gotta do is wait for him to do his swinging attacks, roll through them, and then take the chance to hit him. And remember, always run away from this move, because it will kill you if you try and roll through it. Ugh, finally. This fight would have been finished ages ago if he wasn't spamming that fire move at me over and over again. Oh well, if you stick to those tips, you should be able to take him out no problem. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the third boss, the Executioner's Chariot, and this boss can be incredibly hard if you don't know what you're doing. Okay, now the thing about this boss is that these skeletons will continuously spawn over and over and over again. Not only that, but the boss himself will just keep racing around on his chariot around the arena, and you won't be able to hit him. Now, the only way to stop these skeletons spawning is to take out the mages, and the mages are sort of in the alcoves. I think there's about 2 or 3 of them. So you basically have to run all the way around, and you want to find those mages as quickly as you can, because otherwise those skeletons, they're just going to keep coming and coming, and it's going to make your time a hell of a lot harder to try and fight this boss. Okay, so here's another mage right here. When you do take out all the mages, when you kill the skeletons, they won't respawn. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that you do that before doing anything else. Now, you can hide in the alcoves to hide from the chariot's moves. That is an option. Or you could do what I was doing in the beginning of the video and just roll through his wheels just as he gets to you. It does take a little practice, but it's not impossible. Okay, so when all the mages and all the skeletons are dead, make your way all the way to the end where you'll come across this switch. When you hit it, the gate will drop, and that's stage 1 of the fight done, no problem. When the chariot hits the gate, it will smash off, leaving just behind the horse. Now, this horse is without a doubt much easier than the first stage. He does hit hard, but if you stay behind him, you can get some damn good hits in, and luckily his health isn't so bad. The only thing you have to worry about is that if you stay behind him for too long, he will sort of kick back with his hind legs, and these can hit hard. Okay, so when you see him gearing up for that, you'll know it's coming because he sort of bows his head down first and then he kicks up. So you'll know it's coming. So yeah, remember, stick to this guy's rear. It's the best place to be. If you're at his rear, he won't be able to do his magic attacks on you. He won't be able to charge you. The only thing he can do is kick you with his hind legs. But remember what I said. You can spot it coming if you watch his head. So that's another boss dealt with. Now let's move on to the next one. Okay, now we're on to boss 4, the Rotten. Now, this boss is pretty easy. He's one of those bosses that's more intimidating when you first see him, as opposed to the actual fight. Again, the best strategy, just like the Smelter Demon, is to stay close to this guy. The closer you stay to this guy, the easier that you can roll through his swiping attacks. He does this sort of slamming down move with his cleaver, just as you saw there, that got me. I got careless the first time and I got hit, but overall it's pretty easy to dodge. The main thing you have to worry about is when this guy sort of throws up right in your face, right in front of you. Because of that, the best place to be with this guy is to his side, okay? Whenever he swipes through with his weapon like that, again, if you roll through his weapon to the side, then by the time he's finished his animation, you will be to the side of this guy. You'll never get behind him, because he just swivels on a fucking pinpoint, so you'll never get behind him. He also has this grabbing attack, which very nearly killed me. I got very lucky. Again, another reason why you should try and stay to the side of this guy as best you can. Another reason why you should stay close to this guy is because, as you can see, there's fire pits around. You don't want to go in them because they will continuously take down your health. So to avoid this, stay close to this guy and try and stick in the middle of the arena. And now that he's nearly dead, I think we should flick that epic switch. And there you have it, another boss that wasn't too hard. Remember, stay close to him, roll through his attacks into the side, and get some damn good hits in before he can recover, and you'll have that fight done in no time. Okay, so now we're moving on to the 5th boss, the Royal Rat Authority. And the very first thing you should do when you get into the arena is kill the baby rats immediately. Okay, there's only 4 of them, but you need to kill them straight away. The reason being is because you will have a few seconds to take down these rats before the big guy shows up. Okay, now these rats, when they bite you, they can poison you and toxic you, and if that happens, you may as well just fucking die and give it another go, because trying to deal with the poison and the baby rats and this big guy at the same time is very hard. So I strongly recommend quickly killing the baby rats as fast as you can. After you've done that, you can move on to the Royal Rat Authority, and again, this is another boss who is intimidating at first sight, but once you learn what to do, it's incredibly easy. So the best thing to do is either run to the side of this guy or roll through his legs and attack his hind legs. Now, you can only get a few hits in doing this because unfortunately he will keep hopping back. But it is the best place to be. While you're back there, he can't do anything to hit you. You don't want to try and attack one of his front legs because if you do that, he can still swipe at you, he can still charge you, and he can still try and bite you. So don't attack his front legs. Instead, remember, roll through his attacks or run around to the side of him, attack his hind legs, and you should have this fight done in no time. Okay guys, those were my tips and strategies for 5 more bosses. I hope they helped you out, and I'll see you next time.